Hello, my name is Taya Martinez, and today I will be talking about gender roles. The agenda is Introduction, Gender Roles Explained, YouTube video, Gender Roles Book Explanation, Roles in My Culture, Book Continued, How That Has Changed Today, Final Thoughts, and a reference page. Introduction. In this presentation, I will be discussing gender roles and how they continue to exist and influence our lives today. Although society has made progress in challenging some of these traditional roles, they remain deeply rooted in many communities around the world. I will also explore how gender roles are beginning to shift in modern times, especially with growing conversation around gender equality and identity. Finally, I will look at how these roles may continue to evolve in the coming years and what that might mean for future generations. What are gender roles? Gender roles are the socially constructed expectations and norms that society places on individuals based on their perceived or assigned gender. These roles dictate how people should behave, think, express themselves, and even interact with others. From a young age, individuals are often taught to conform to these roles through family, media, education, and cultural traditions. For example, women are typically encouraged to be gentler, nurturing, empathetic, and emotionally expressive. They are often expected to take on caregiving roles within the home, such as raising children, cooking, and maintaining the household. On the other hand, men are generally taught to be tough, emotionally reserved, independent, and physically strong. Society often expects them to be the primary financial providers and to hold their own in challenging situations without showing vulnerability. These traditional gender roles can limit individual freedom and personal growth, reinforcing stereotypes that may not reflect a person's identity or capabilities. As society continues to evolve, there is increasing awareness and criticism of rigid gender roles, and more people are advocating for a broader, more inclusive understanding of gender and individual expression. Prescriptions and expectations assigned to genders on the female-male continuum. These prescriptions and exceptions are typically embedded in cultural norms and transmitted from one generation to the next. Gender Roles and Stereotypes YouTube video. In the video, they talk about how people are automatically placed in roles based on their gender from birth. Men are expected to be strong and aggressive, while women are seen as nurturing and emotional. The video also touches on unrealistic beauty standards and how they pressure people to look or act in a certain way. It points out that these stereotypes can limit emotional expression, like how women aren't supposed to show anger and men aren't supposed to show they care. In the end, the video says that times are changing and people are starting to break out of those boxes and show their true selves. Gender roles according to the author. Gender roles in history were about the activities the individual should have performed. In traditional cultural settings, women were supposed to be nurturing and caring, while men were supposed to be decisive and physically strong. These prescriptions referred to every area of life, including family, work, welfare, and education. In the Korean language, a married woman is referred to as home person, and a married man is referred to person outside. There were also differences in how social positions and social activities, such as being a warrior or a monk, and occupations such as being a truck driver, a firefighter, an elementary school teacher, or a nurse, associated with gender roles. Gender roles in my culture. In many Pueblo communities, Native men are granted a wider range of roles and responsibilities, both in traditional and contemporary settings. They are allowed to participate in more dances throughout the year, sing ceremonial songs, serve on tribal council, and even become governor. Men are also involved in sacred or traditional practices that women are often excluded from entirely, like activities that are kept private and only shared among men. When women ask about these traditions, we are often simply told, "You are a man," with no further explanation. Meanwhile, the roles assigned to women tend to revolve around support and caregiving. For example, during ceremonial and dances, women are expected to stay in the kitchen, prepare and serve food, wash dishes, and ensure that everyone is fed. Our contributions are vital, yet they are often overlooked and undervalued. We are not allowed to serve on council, as those positions are traditionally reserved for men. While women can participate in some dances, the opportunities are limited, and many of them require a male partner in order to take part. In contrast, men are able to dance throughout the year without such restrictions. This imbalance reflects long-standing gender norms within the Pueblo that continue to shape the way roles and responsibilities are distributed today. Book continued. Contemporary psychology considers gender roles as not exclusively limited to the dichotomous male-female categories. A view that has become increasingly common is that individuals may have many features of masculinity and femininity simultaneously. A person can be physically imposing and dominating, features assigned to masculinity, and at the same time caring and loving, features assigned to femininity. The term transgender refers to the roles that do not fit into the traditionally assigned gender dichotomy. Transgender individuals do not identify with distinct traditional male and female gender roles. How that has changed today. One of the most influential sources of gender studies have been feminism, which originated in political and social science. Feminism is the view that women should have equal rights and opportunities with men, and global changes are needed to achieve social justice. Burnett's lecture, Women's Journey Toward Equality, Where We Are and the Path Ahead, discussed how traditional gender roles have changed, subsequently freeing women to engage in life outside the home. During her presentation, Burnett provided much data on men's family and work roles, women's multiple roles, quality of marital relationships, and what the future holds for women's equality. Final thoughts. In my opinion, I agree that these gender roles are placed on people by society, and they can be extremely difficult to break free from, especially when they are so deeply ingrained in culture, tradition, and everyday life. From what I've seen, women are often the ones who challenge and push back against these expectations, fighting for more equality and freedom in how they choose to live their lives. On the other hand, many men seem to have a harder time letting go of these traditional mindsets, possibly because they benefit from them in some ways or because they fear being seen as weak or less masculine if they step outside those roles. Growing up, I always noticed how unfair it felt that boys seemed to have more freedom and fewer rules. They were allowed to explore, lead, and express themselves more openly, while girls were often expected to stay quiet, act responsibly, and take on caregiving roles. These double standards don't protect anyone. They just box people in and limit their potential. Even though we're seeing more open-mindedness in today's society, especially among younger generations, there are still many people who hold on to those old school beliefs, seeing traditional gender roles as simply how things are supposed to be. But I truly believe that as society continues to grow, learn, and become more inclusive, these outdated mindsets will gradually fade away, making room for a future where people are free to be themselves without being judged by gendered expectations. References. That is all for this presentation. Thank you for listening.